Machi. Check, check. Hello, everybody. Let's do a quick mic check on the settings. Cool. Okay, so perfect timing, awesome. Like the title of the stream says, I suffer from shiny object syndrome. My wife just asked me to do something cool. I suffer from shiny object syndrome. I will start a project and then go, ooh, I could do this instead. And I can't stop my brain from thinking about that other project. So often I will start on that project until it subsides. And that's what I'm going to try with this. The other thing is I'm not 100% sold on my other game. That sounds awful, right? But it's the truth. Like, I don't know that it's going to be a viable game, right? It's a great learning experience nonetheless, right? So no harm in doing it. I'm not sure it's going to be super fun. So that brings us to this. The other day I started working on just this template in Blender. I'm pretty familiar with Blender. I don't have any problem building in Blender. So built something out for a terrain, right? I know the colors. I'm not worried about that stuff yet. I'm just prototyping. That's what this is about. This is about prototyping an idea. If I can get it to the point where it's going to be cool and fun, yeah, great. If I can't, then oh well. Not out anything. I'm not trying to invest, years of my life into this. So this is our object. Yeah, there's some tearing in the scene. That's because right before I started streaming, I was messing with it and monked it up. But I know I'm going to redo the whole thing eventually anyway, because I've already got better ideas for it. But the idea is, how do I go about using Blender objects, multiple Blender objects that are approximately the same size in Blender, to generate the world similar to how I do it in Demon Depths. So this is Demon Depths through Unity. Andrew, if you're still there, you know what Demon Depths is, right? So that's actually something that's fun. Yeah, it's in Minecraft, so that's probably a part of it. But could I do it in my own thing? Yeah, Demon Depths. So didn't you play it with Mike on the server I have? That procedurally generated dungeon crawler? I would show you, but some of the guys have started a Demon Depths run and then never finished it. Like, they logged off. You did, but you didn't do the dungeon thing. You only played Cobble Wars. Oh, okay. I didn't understand. Okay, thank you, CZ. I might. I don't. Can I do it on stream? I probably can't. Crap. The only way to kill you runs to. Yeah, Cobble Wars is an interesting one, especially when you get a bunch of people going. I'm gonna fire it up then so I can demonstrate what it is. Make sure that, yeah, Zach's still not finished with his run. So let me grab my putty window on another screen and get my password out for that particular server. So just 1 second. So I need to basically kill the session. This one. Demonstrate how DD works. Sure. Are you saying I'm just gonna play forever? Because I'm not. I just want to demonstrate it. Ah, not DD. Server 5. Honestly, why do the whole thing Unity instead of keeping it in MC? Because it's shiny. Because it's shiny, because I've forever wanted to do it in something that gives me more capabilities. I've tried and stopped many attempts at doing it, and I think I've got mod into one that might be better. Yeah, Demon Depths could be its own game. So let's do this. List, no one's on. I tried to kick me, so this is the right server, so stop. It's gonna automatically restart that. And while that's restarting, because it only take a minute here, but while it's restarting, I'm gonna take you guys into the one you haven't seen, which is the Module Maker. Okay, so Modular Maker is where we're building all these. Exactly, I can build as many custom enemies as I want. I can do a map without having to deal with the limitations in Minecraft and things like that. So each one of these 32 by 32 block structures is one of the sections in the original Demon Depths that we built. It's 2 chunks by 2 chunks, right? And we use a stick as an item with a scanner. We click this one, we click the bottom right corner over here, and then we type some commands and tell it is either a connector or a unique type, and that saves it and puts it into Demon Depths, okay? Now, that probably doesn't make a lot of sense until I drop down to the bottom here where we can actually see the things. So see where all these gold blocks are? Those are where the doors could be on every unique. They are also the locations where the doors must be on every connector. So every connector room, this is a connector room, must lead up to each one of those gold blocks in order for it to be a valid connector. Don't have any checks in there to do that. It's just a rule we set that says that that's how it needs to be. Because what this does, what Demon Depths does is, let me get up to the top one of, gosh, something I can build. Let's come out here like this. Awesome, grabbed the wrong thing. So if I come out here like this and like break these, Demon Depths generates the world like this as a checkerboard pattern. So every other piece is a unique, every other piece is a connector. To the DD lobby. Yeah, I'm not in the lobby for it though. Give me a second, let me explain this and I'll jump over there. So, say this nether brick one is a connector. This can be unique. So this guarantees that you can go to any of the uniques that are around it. And same here. So this makes it so that you can guarantee that the player can go from any point in the game to any other point in the game and always have a path forward, right? Because what we say on the uniques is that they should have at least an exit to 2 different sides, right? So to the north and to the east, for example. That way you can continue your run. The odds of you being able to go into here and here, this one being another left turn and this one being a left turn and left turn is very low. Plus the fact that this is a connector as well, right? So it's going to be able to go here. This one would be able to go here and here and here. So in order for you to get locked in, you would need all of these to not have doorways to these connectors as well. So the probability that's very, very low. And I've never had a run where I get stuck, like physically stuck where I can't go through it. It's more about I encounter a cell that doesn't let you through. I kick myself. Oh, kick Texac. Cuz. Yeah, he's not on the lobby. Maybe he's in... Yeah, he's in Death Cube. You have to get out of Death Cube. You can... Here, let me just do this. Whoop. Kick. Tac. Okay, so that's not the Demon Depths one. Demon Depths is back here. You can't hear me, can you? Delays. Where'd you go? No, go to the center when you finally hear me. Then you can go Demon Depths. There we go. So what that does, like, it generates this. This is our starting area. We come over here, we grab some loot to start this off. And he's already hit the button. So that gives you basically some starting materials, right? So in this case, it's a sword, a couple torches, and some bread. Here's an arrow. There wasn't much in that. We are in adventure mode, so you can't typically break blocks unless you have the correct tool for it. Oh, and Zarified, if you're watching, there's another one that was recently built on the module maker that's similar to this, where there's a column of lava coming down, and then there's some blocks that are not burnable, and then wood blocks around it. Those were on fire the other day on the module maker server, so it might be a case where you can no longer scan that if you haven't already done it. So because we're in adventure mode, we can break ladders, right? Those are breakable in this version of Minecraft 1.7.10. You know, and we've got the concept of you need lighting to make the monsters not spawn. Maybe I could do something similar. Oh, wow. It's already scanned in. Okay, cool. And you see he died and immediately got kicked because it's a one life game by default. So it's very roguelike in that sense, right? Oh, wow. You're making your own attribute in Unity. For what? Okay, I'm just gonna ignore that one. Run over here. Oh, for item ID. Okay. So it's not a just an integer field? Okay, yeah. So I don't want to go into too much of playing this right now because that wasn't what I was going to stream about, but you get the concept, right? So each one of these rooms, this is a connector. You can see each side has 9 doors. That's a unique. This is going to be unique over here. So how do I want to do this in Unity? Exactly. So I'm going to kill myself, so if anybody else wants to play this, they can. Galf here. Boom. So what I'm thinking, Zarified, is I can build whatever I want in Blender, right? As far as the level is, or the 2x2 chunk area, right? And create that as its own saved file. Unity will import that in with no problems. And then I could basically define that as a chunk. One single chunk, which will make this a whole lot easier. And procedurally just generate them all along the way. What I can do is any mono that has an item type property, I can use... Oh! I think I see what you're saying. So you're talking about the attributes, like the tags inside Visual Studio when you're writing it. So something like adding serializable field. Like that type of attribute is what you're saying? Nice. Yeah, I wasn't getting what you were saying before. Or match your existing chunks. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be a checkerboard pattern from the standpoint that the concept of the unique and connector was a good one, I think, right? It helped. It just helped being able to build them, right? Now, being in Unity, I'll have a lot more flexibility, and there's a good chance that I might even take it a step further. Because, like, Demon Depths works great, but it's dumb in its generation. Right. And start with simple dungeons. Yeah. How do I want to describe this? So let's say we were at, I don't have a good way of explaining it on camera, probably. So say this is the world, all the different chunks in the world, right? And this letter S is where we are, right? Or let's put P for player location. Don't go complex. Well, that's the thing. Like, Demon Depths is simple. That's the best part about it. And then let's say the way we originally intended Demon Depths to work is you're guaranteed for it to always link back together. So by that I mean, if we were to put a module in that has a teleporter in it that just randomly teleports the player 10,000 blocks in one given direction, as long as it was a valid, you know, location that it teleports you to, it's not in another block or something, it would work. Because what it's going to do is it's going to start the generation, say there then, so P2, let's just put number 2. And if the player were to walk backwards from that location, it's going to ensure that the border between the two different sections of generated world, when they meet, will still be the checkerboard pattern. It's doing it based on the... if it wasn't a 2x2 chunk, what it would be based on would be the even or odds, right? So every odd chunk is unique, every even chunk is a connector, that type of thing. But because it was 2 chunks, I had to throw some extra math in there that was from years ago, and I don't remember what the math is at the top of my head. But my point is, we didn't have to put any logic in there that says, is this a right turn chunk, or is this a left turn chunk, or is this a straight through, or is it anything like that. In Unity, I have the ability to do that, right? I can define the section of level, right, which doors are valid, so that when we pick another door, it can look at what's connected to it, where you're coming from, and make sure that you can go on a valid path around. So what I'm saying is, I could effectively make it so like the whole world is a spiral, right? But the spiral goes right turns, and then left turns, and then right turns, and left turns, and just keeps you going out in this big circular pattern, if I wanted to. Yeah. That's the kind of things that I could do in Unity if I wanted to. Keezer, I think you can join me down here if you're trying to join me down here. You can. I don't care. I see you're in the general voice chat. I'm in the stream voice channel. Could be a checkboard of anything, to be honest, though. Hexagon, checkerboard, square, triangle, etc. True. Hey guys. If you don't have talk power here, let me know. I think you should. Square is way easier. Triangle would be really hard because you have to flip the triangles to get the pattern to fit. Cheek.
Yellow.
There we go. Hey guys.
Hello. It's a bit confusing with multiple texts talking to me. How's it going?
good. I'm trying to build yet another thing.
Yes, I have not been keeping up progress-wise at all, so I have no idea.
Well, this is the first time I've tried to build something different for a while, right? Month and a half I was on the other game. Now I'm not saying I'm giving up on it completely, but I need a break from it, and something shiny has come along that says, let's try this.
New and shiny.
So, in order to support doing this, the equivalent of connectors would need to have X number of doors that are guaranteed on each side, and the uniques would need two sides connected together at a minimum. I think I'm going to leave it with that level of definition of the chunks for now, because anything that's not a all X number of doors on each side is not a connector, right? It's a unique, and it's just a variant or subclass of a connector or of a unique at that point. Okay, so how am I going to build these, right? So I got this as an example, just how to start. And if we go into the actual game here and hit play, I do have like the Unity's first-person controller set up so that I can walk down, through this thing, through the other side of the tunnel, come out, right? Because I got two of these things hooked together. So that's all there and working fine and dandy. That's about all I've gotten. I'm not sold on if I'm going to make a different Blender file for each one, or if I can do this somehow in one Blender file with multiple objects. I don't know. So let's take a look at the import settings inside Unity first off. So we've got this intro level, and it's just a plane that defines this, right? We're using the embedded materials, the model itself. Let's go back to Blender here and create another plane as a new object. Mesh plane. Apex, have you seen my Demon Depth stuff? Will it be all in Blender, CZ? No. Yes, that is what it is. Infinite roguelike. So here's what I have in mind, right? The topology or chunk design would be in Blender as far as the things you walk on, the walls that are in your way, things along those lines. Then once that's done, I pull it into Unity, not canceling it, putting it on pause because I have shiny object syndrome. And this is my shiny object that I'm going, ooh, let's do this. And in this activity I'm doing today might be today only. I don't know. We'll see how shiny it feels to me after today. So we build the topography in Blender. It's just creating a 3D mesh, right? Then in Unity, I will take that chunk as a prefab basically and start adding things like the loot chest, the mob spawners, right? The different mechanics that make that room unique, right? Because there's no way. There might be a way, but I haven't got that far yet for me to be able to. Okay. I don't. There may be a way for me to go into Blender and say, spawn a specifically uniquely named thing in Blender. And it's just like a cube, right? And I will take that name as a definition of, hey, there's a chest here, and just take the coordinates of that object. maybe. But what I really plan on doing instead of that, which is where I was on a rant about in my mind earlier, was to, in Unity, using all of this stuff that I've been learning in Unity, basically create a level editor right into Unity. So you take the chunk into this level editor in Unity and define there's a chest here and just move it around on the screen. Like, it would be so easy to do with Unity. Yeah. There's also the options of, you know how in Demon Depths we've got the 9 holes open on each connector, right? Those 9 holes often look bad from the standpoint of you can see it, but there's just like blocks behind it when there's no acceptable receptacle on the other side. I might be able to deal with that in Unity, where I mark the connector points on the uniques as not using this one, right? And then it spawns in a smooth or uniquely shaped end to that to prove that there's nothing there. Like, instead of it just being a flat wall that just looks stupid in every single case. Or maybe it closes off the connector entrance all the way inside that the connector. Okay, so that's enough ranting for the moment, I guess. Sure, I'll do it again. So, how can I... There's a couple things that are going to bother me in this whole thing, and one of them is, as I'm building these, the 9 holes need to be represented somehow in Blender so that I can quickly build a new level out that connects up to those holes precisely, right? Because if they're off like this, it's going to show in the game. They all need to be exactly precisely placed. So I guess I need the numeric values of where those need to be so that we can set the floors up on each of the 3 levels. And by the way, there's nothing stopping us to, or requiring us to do 3. It could be 10, it could be 5, it could be 2. 3 was just what we did for the other one. Probably makes sense to do 3. So I think what I need to do is take edge mode and get that and just duplicate just those edges as their own object. And then place that as its own object on each of the sides, on each of the floors, and for each of the 3 doors on that level. And I'm also debating... I should have left Minecraft open. Does it make sense to have 3 on each level? And that's probably a question to Zarified and Gazer and anyone else that's actually played Demon Depths a good amount. Like, is there a benefit to having all 3? Or should it be 1 per side? 1 per side per level?
Did you ask me a question?
Yeah, it's fine.
Damn it. Sorry.
It was a question for you and CZ both.
Okay. Cool.
We chose 3 so that the exit wasn't on the exact same spot.
Man.
It's fine.
Damn wireless head. Okay.
Right, and I know that's why we did it. I'm not opposed to it. Like, it works well for it. And maybe it has more to do with the size of the chunks we have. But often it feels like it's easy to go from the middle one to the left one to the right one. Like, if it's a flat room, no problems, right? There's no additional challenge trying to get there. And it also forced us on all the connectors to make them, you know, like the one that you had made recently, it's in a bridge across, and then you had to go sideways too to get all 3 doors. Sorry, hit the mic. it added some limitations, I guess is what I'm saying. Okay, so we added that plane. Let's save this. Getting distracted by myself. Okay, it's gonna re-import. We've got a separate plane object now. Whoa. Oh, wow. Okay. It rotated it this time? Why didn't it? Huh? So the original geometry did not rotate, but this one did. I say the original geometry because I'm talking about the mesh collider. Ah, it set them up as child objects. Shoot. So if we did something like this, chest, right? And we're here, so if I do Control D, no, come on, object mode, duplicate. It gives chest 001. Duplicate, duplicate. What is it doing there? Now, can I name them exactly the same? No. It will not allow me. And then when they come into Unity, let's save it first time. We get all the chest objects. So this is screwed up because of this. Then on this, rig, animation, okay, materials, generate colliders. And then we can kill the collider on the parent one probably. So I added that manually later. Now I got a mesh collider on everything. It's probably not ideal, but whatever. So now we know where those locations are is what I'm getting at, right? So I could take this coordinate and spawn a chest there. That's one option. That would mean that if I could get it to that kind of level, right, that would mean that I could work with someone that knew Blender to design the level, and all they would have to do for creating chests and things would be spawn an object or create a new object in Blender with the correct name and placement, and then I would just remove that object, basically what I'm processing that Blender file. Not sure I want to do that though. You gonna say something? Huh?
Play VR. Sorry, my mic was.
I turned you up too.
There you go. I'm going to play VR because Liv wants so. But I would be watching if I could. Not that I understand what the hell you're talking about.
It's okay.
But it does sound whatever you're trying to say. I think about the thing that sounded good. If I was getting that right. Like you could place a chest down whilst inside. It's like a level editor.
Basically, you use Blender as a level editor.
Okay, Blender's level, not the actual inside the game.
Right. Right, that's one option. The other option is in Unity, basically make a level editor.
Okay. Never mind.
What you're talking about is yet another thing altogether, and that might be even most powerful.
Yeah. All right. Never mind. Talk to you later.
To the VR. So lots of options to work with. I need to make just a decision. If I delete these, I can't because it's part of the prefab. Okay. Let's get rid of these because I definitely don't want them there anyway, right? Alright, it should be the X character. Okay, the next thing I need to do, I'm going to add one back actually. So I'm going to add a plane, just right click that size, save it. Go back into here. It should import it, right? And it does. But what happens if I say that this object is hidden? Save. Should import again. It still shows in the game. Okay. What if it's not part of the render layer? I'm trying to get it to not import into Unity. I want it to be there in Blender, but not in Unity. Completely gone. We'll even move it to its own layer. Save. Nope. Shoot. What I was hoping to be able to do is get rid of it so that I can see it in Blender but not have it part of my file when I import into Unity. Is there any way I can select which meshes get imported? Don't think that there is. Materials, but not. Nope. Okay, so alternatively, I can select this one. Let's get rid of this one first. I can select this one, go to edit mode. Don't think there's a way I can duplicate a selection. Split then. Edge split. What's proportional editing is on. Dot to focus on this. Come on. There we go. Edge split. Doesn't feel like that's the right thing. There's some other split. There we go. Yeah, okay. So now I've got a copy of that so that I can reference it wherever I need to start my next layer down. So right now, this is at... Gosh, how am I going to do this? The Z is at an odd number. Cool. What about the bottom Z? It's at 4. And the top is at -2. So that's a too high section. So the doors should be too high. 2. And the width, we're at -1 and +1, so it's a 2x2 door. Okay. And the bottom's going to be at 4. Top's going to be at 2, and that's negative. Negative 1 and 1. So the next floor down needs to be some integer value lower. Okay, so if I slid that straight down, say down negative 10. I need to go back into Demon Depths. I want to see what the difference in height of those are, because it's a nice reference to have. Because while Demon Depths could go lower or higher, they were set up pretty nice. For the most part, they all kind of worked in that same area. Oh, wait. Kill. Haha! Kick. Game hasn't started. Let's go up to the top of the thing. There it is. And what are our coordinates here? Let's grab one that's easy to go into. So for example, we are at 94. Next floor down was at 81. Wow, we didn't really put any thought into that at all, did we? 68, 81, and 94. Yeah, we just picked random numbers, I think. Cool. That, or we had the top and the bottom and added the middle one somewhere in between. $81. $81 minus 68. It's 13 blocks. Oh, it is 13 blocks apart. Okay. For all three. Will 10 be enough? Because I mean, it's going to feel different anyway. Let's grab Z. Negative 15. No, negative 16. Come on, power 2. Negative 16. And that should be the bottom coordinate, right? 20, because the top one's 4. Okay, so that makes sense. It's going to be at negative 20. And then if we duplicate all that again, so grab all that, hit Y, grab Z, negative 16. Really? When we did Y, it should split it. Vertices 2. Box select. There's only one. Why is it not actually splitting and duplicating at all? Let's do this. Extrude. That's probably what I needed to do. Yeah, okay. Just right click, Y. There we go. I needed to duplicate it first. Negatives, grab Z, negative 16. That'll be our third floor. Okay. And then can I take... extrude, split, split, grab that one, and that one. If I extrude Y again, or split it with the Y. Grab it in the X direction. Is 10 enough? So this should be 64 wide. So that's 32 there. So if it did 16, it'd be in the middle of that side. Let's do that. Grab X 16. Extrude Y to split it. Grab X-axis negative 16. Negative 32, right? Negative 32. What? Negative. It's not taking my negative? There. Okay. This top one's gonna be a pain. Come on. Can't I select that? Okay. And then let's grab box select. Okay, so if I take all those and extrude on it, and then hit Y again, they're all separate objects. And if I rotate them 90 degrees along the Z, but not from the center point, we want to do it from the 3D cursor, but first we need to get our 3D cursor, snap cursor to center, and then rotate along the Z 90 degrees. There they are. Okay, and then extrude, escape, Y to split them off, rotate Z 90. Okay, extrude, escape, Y, rotate 90, Z. There's our doors. There's the locations of all of our doors for the dungeons. Save this, and we go back into Unity this time. Oh, now we're not streaming. Stream died. Dropping frames like crazy? What? I lost the feed. I always keep up to make sure it's working okay. Okay, so we're back to this. This needs to be rotated to negative 90 now. Now, can we see any of those objects? We cannot. Why? Because they are just edges, not faces in Unity, and Unity doesn't like that. That kind of works for me. Now, the only concern I have is that they're there and actually part of the geometry and taking up, you know, however many vertex renders that is, even though there's no face. Okay, let's grab all of this, the linked portions of that. Let's kill it by hitting vertice delete. Now I've got this here saved that we can save. Let's get rid of the camera. Oops, that's not the camera. And a light. Delete both of those because we don't need them. Grab that. There we go. Let's go into edit mode, select all, remove dupe doubles. We had some doubles, so glad we did that. Let's see, remove doubles again. 0, cool. I just wanted to make sure I didn't have anything that's extra, because when I was splitting them, I might have split it multiple times. I think this is our template. So let's save, not as intro, save as level chunk template. Save. Save. Okay. That's gonna let it import into Blender now, or into Unity. I also want to take and hit F on all these, so we get a face on all these. And let's save this as Unity chunk template. Because by putting a face on them, we can actually see them in Unity then. So let's let this all import. Let's grab this out of here. We're gonna set our settings on this. We don't have any animations, any rigs. I'll check that, apply. Materials, I'm not worried about materials right now. Let's pull this in here. There we go, we can see them now. Can we see back faces? Does not appear to be the case. -90. Yeah, we can't. And the normals are not consistent. Awesome. So, calculate, no, normal, make normals consistent, save. So we should see them all or none then. That did not work at all. Cool. There might also be an option on this that says it's a double face. Blend shape, normals, normal mode. Yeah, I didn't change anything. Wait, that wasn't it? This one. The other thing we can do is double side, no. Basically, I want to make another face out of all these. Let's say flip. Really? FLIP. Flip normals. And if I hit face again. You. Okay, I'm gonna flip your normals so that you're consistent with everything that's on that side. Tell just by looking at them which ones are different. I guess that's an option too. So this, this. Flip your normals. Okay, now they're all consistent, at least, with each other on their own side. Whether or not that's correct all around, I don't know. So then I can go to top view. We are in transparent mode. Yep. I can select these, extrude 0.0001 along the x-axis. Yeah. Whoa. Grab 0.01. Okay. Box select these. Extrude. That is a positive z-axis. Y-axis? Negative then. Okay. Grab Y negative 0.01. So I'm giving them some depth so that they'll have the extra face on them. At least that's the idea. Extrude, grab, x, negative 0.01. Extrude, y, 0.01. Save. Okay. Normal saved. Looks like we're only seeing the back faces on stuff, except for these. But we can fix. Let's go to front view. Okay. Must not have had magnetic or the see-through mode turned on. Like I thought I did. Yeah, now it's on. Okay, top view. Extrude. On the Y, 0.1. Extrude 0.1 along the X. Extrude Y negative 0.1. Extrude X negative 0.1. Save. The other thing I don't know is I think I might be grabbing the edges only. There we go. That's more like what I wanted. All right, so we can see those markers if we need to now. I'm probably going to use this in another script as what I want to render in the editor to say where the doors should be, right? And I'll give it a custom color, or I can just do it in here probably. So if I select all this, so another one, new, make it a yellow color, like that, and we will assign it to all of those vertexes. It should be yellow now. In theory, they should be yellow. There we go. So now we can see where the doors should be. Still, some of the faces are off. I wish I knew which ones they were. It's hard for me to tell. Let's go into this mode. Okay, so these are the ones that are off. Actually, can I do calculate normal? Save. Should fix. Let's get in there quite extremely close. Okay, so we got a normal facing out there like it should. And there. Interesting. Let's check that side. Unless we're seeing the normal coming through from the other side. No, I don't think we are. It's showing the normals everywhere. That's a handy feature in Blender if you didn't know about it. Being able to see what the normals are fixes a lot of problems for you. Normals are set to import. What if we set them to calculate? It didn't do anything. Okay. Could be just the scene lighting too, right? Maybe the scene lighting's a little off. Anyway, that's where all the doors need to be. I don't want to get too distracted by it. Save this. We go back to... Let's go with new. Okay, I'm going to delete that. Delete that. Delete that. And I think I can import from another Blender file here. Link from a library Blender. Okay, so let's try this. We want my D drive, all code, Unity, Demon Depths 3D, assets, TS, Blender, chunks, chunk template. Okay, cool. And then we want the plane. There we go. So now I've got that set up. Now let's add our own plane. Okay, so those are gonna disappear on me every time I click off because they are just... If I do this, will they gonna disappear? They do not. They're hard to see though. Let's not do it this way then. So my thought process is these are hard to see, and also I need to actually use those vertexes as part of this geometry when I'm done. So let's open that template and do a save as right away. Start area. Okay. That way I can use these geometries. Really? Is there a face there? There is. Delete just the face, please, because that's what I said. Edge. Save. Okay. So let's pick a direction. Let's pick the quote top direction. And we're going to exit out to this on this level. I'm going to extrude that. We're going to go along the y-axis. We're going to pull it down like that. And let's extrude again. And that y. And this time move it up some. Okay. Rotate along the X. We don't want to go from origin. We want to go on individual medium point. That's what we want. So that's going to change the height of my tunnel, though. You know, the tunnel doesn't have to come back to the center either, does it? So what I was initially thinking was we're going to build like a house over this, and that's going to be what you spawn in. And like you're going into the basement of this house, and that kind of starts the whole thing. Scale those along their Y. Grab them along the Y. Okay. There we go. And from that, we need a plane basically that's level with that piece there for the flooring. We can extrude that out. Just one way. If I can get in the right view, stop fiddling. Extrude along the y-axis. Guess we only need to filter there. Take that side and that side, extrude, scale along the X. Okay. Let's also grab these sides so that they're included as part of the object. Extrude, scale along the X. Now we're building the wall there too. That's probably big enough. Turn, there we go. Grab all of this edge here, extrude it up. We will grab all of this, extrude it up like that. That was not perfect, so along the z-axis. Alt click, extrude, Z. There we go. Okay, then we can take this and this, extrude them along the Z as well. Then we'll take all the top edges, scale them along their Z-axis to 0, and they're now all level. And let's take this one and this one. That's plenty high enough, I think, for a house type of thing. Let's extrude those up again, scale them to 0. Whoa. Scale them to 0. Extrude scale. Let's do 4. Scale them to 0. And then make a face out of those edges by hitting F. Face. Save. Let's get this out of here because we don't need it right now. Starting area, no rig. No animation. Materials I don't care about right at the moment. Apply. We can see it from the outside, which means it is not correct. Yeah, faces are not consistent either. So, let's see. Yeah, those faces are all different there. But the ones that are funny looking are the correct ones. We need to flip the normals on everything else so we can see the inside of the house, because we're going to be in this thing, not outside it. Flip the normals. Save. There we go. Now, if we take our rigid body first-person controller, put it inside there and hit play, we should be inside the house. Except for we need to, yeah. Add a collider, please. So on this, we need to say import collider, generate collider. I don't know if we need to drag that into the scene again. We do not. Okay, the sides of our walls there are incorrect for their normals, but that's okay. We know how to fix it. Let's see. Showing the normals is probably the easiest way for me to fix this. Normal. Okay, those are pointing out. We want those ones to point in. So save flip normals. Save. Play. That would be how you'd start Demon Depths. Obviously, we could do a lot more artistic view of this, right? We could put a door on that, things like that. So this was just to get us started. Let's see here. So if I grab these, and we assign them to the gray, and then for the walls here, set them to a white, I think would look good. Come on. And let's set everything to white. Save. Go into the scene. Let it import. Everything's white. Those are gray. So now if we play, we're inside a white building. To a degree, yeah. But that's also a good thing, right? It's good and bad. I get what you're going for. Love how the shadows are funky in Unity by default. I'll have to fix that. But you're right. So it needs to be. I don't know. It's different, right? So instead of placing 100 blocks to make your floor, you put a big plane in there and you got your floor, right? It's one way or the other. You still have to build your floor, and other things. Right. I'm not saying anyone other than me needs to ever work on this. I'm not saying no if others want to, but I don't like this. This will very, very likely not go anywhere, and that's just fine by me. I have a strong itch to build something that is a randomly generated dungeon, and I love the way Demon Depths works for that, so that's why I'm starting on it. Also, look at all these awesome inspirations I have already. Ha 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 ha. Of types of rooms that we could build for this, right? Like, build a ring in Blender, build a staircase in Blender, Annoying, sure, but doable. So if that's our starting area, let's make a connector now. Just a generic connector. Because I think we always had a connector spawn first, didn't we, CZ? Like, we had the starting area as a unique, because it only had one door. And in order to ensure that it would always have something to connect into, it had to be a connector. I guess there's nothing stopping us from saying that starting area could have many. Starting area is unique. Okay. There's connections to a connector. Cool. So let me make a connector then. So save. Let's open up our chunk template, and let's fix that one section that was off before we move on to the next piece. Delete the face only. Then we go to edge mode. Delete the edge. Save. And then let's do a save as on this as connector 1 or whatever. Connector 1. Also tempted to organize these by folder. Let's do it. Connectors. Save. Okay. So this one we must guarantee that everything is connected or connectable. So let's do this. I also need to do a quick search for how to make a double-sided face in Unity or in Blender, because I just realized if I was thinking was I'm going to extrude those and make them meet in the middle. Then we've got our floor for those pieces. We'll do the same for the other way. Connect them up however we need to do. But then if you fall off of them and look up, you're not going to see them. Blender double-sided. Double-sided Unity. There we go. Two-sided objects from Blender to Unity 3D. Quick answers. Add call off on your shader pass if this is matches outside. That's not what I want to do. I want to have an actual double-sided polygon. Very time consuming. As far as I know, it's not possible to have two faces share the same vertices. But disagree. You've got never. You can use a separate mesh, including only polygons you want. Really, people? That's that hard? Let's get rid of the word Unity. It should be easy to do in Blender. Have double-sided texturing, double-sided faces. Enable double-sided in properties under object data. What's this one? Double-sided. Save. Okay, let's extrude those along that axis to 0. And scales is 0. Save you. Look at you in Unity, see if you're double-sided. So the idea is this would have been spawn in. Wait, we gotta tell it to import correctly. None. Nope. Don't care. Fly. Generate colliders. Okay, so leave here. Did I not save it? I probably didn't save it. Let's move this to 64. Negative. Why can't I see it at all? It's only the bottoms. Cool. So double-sided did not work. It's based on the unities or the normals probably. What if we did calculate normals? I could extrude them so they're fat. That's one option. Let's uncheck this in case it's doing something else funky. So we'll grab those faces and extrude them down. Things are gonna need depth in this anyway, right? Let's go Control Tab, face. Z-axis, say 0.1. Have you read at all about NetHack does world gen? No. What's NetHack? Simple road-like video game originally released in 1987 with ASCII art. It is a descendant of an earlier game called Hack, which was a clone of Rogue. Okay, I compared it with Rogue. What specifically are you referring to in this that I should look at? Dungeon levels? Snack Dungeons spans about 50 primary levels, which are randomly generated when the player connects the first encounters them. Okay. Typical level contains the way up and down. These may be stairways along with several rooms joined by corridors. The rooms are randomly generated rectangles as opposed to linear corridors, making it so you have basically it's a branch, huh? Was there something specific in there you wanted me to look at besides what I just read? Not sure I get what you're going for, Susie. Where are my normals? Show my normals. You are inside out. Save. Cool, I connected the wrong sides. That works. Let's get the other ones in. Oh, we're in face mode. Edge. What if I do that? It's just another roguelike, and I know it has been around for a while. I think it's also source also. Gotcha. Scale the Y to 0, and then those faces we need. Shoot, those were extruded the wrong way. Okay. Extruded up by mistake. Okay, so extrude in the Z. We'll go negative 0.1. Make normals consistent. Don't think that worked like I wanted. Doop 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 boop 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 boop. Let's actually just take these to these. That way we don't have another extra face that's not needed. And then extrude -0.1. Almost consistent. Save. Okay, we can see this. The normals are not right. Outside. I thought there was a thing in Blender that let me choose where the normals were, like if it's inside or outside. The other thing, too, that I'm missing out on in my brain, and I should be thinking like this, is I can create sections of levels and reuse those sections in Unity instead of designing the whole thing from scratch in Blender. Like, if we created a staircase, I could create the staircase in Blender. For a section of the staircase, and then reuse that multiple times in Unity to come up with that level, for that chunk, right? So, said a different way, this platform that's going across could be one platform that's a prefab in Unity, and I spawn it 3 times to fit the doors. I think I need to come up with a straight up, not direct level editor, but like, how it's an editor in Unity to build this stuff out. Because then I wouldn't have to, like, I'll build it once and then never have to worry about the normals being wrong again. That should not be an issue. Delete the face only. Let's do it this way. Okay, let's grab these two. These two. Face. Grab that. Face. 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 Oh, that was cool. Not what I wanted at all, but... Really? Is there an extra... doubles? There was. There's an extra edge there. Okay, so let's go to this side. It's interesting how Blender determines which face it's going, or which pieces it's going to use. There's still doubles in this. Gotta go, good luck. Honestly, still got the whole thing, makes sense. but it doesn't have to for you to learn. Have fun. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'll agree with you. Like, it may not make sense when I'm all done. Oh well. No doubles. No doubles. No doubles. Take two edges and hit F. It should make a face out of them without flipping it around like that. It's all screwed up. So let's take the vertexes instead. This vertex, that vertex makes an edge. That one and that one make an edge. Now, if we go to the edge mode and say those edges make up my face, there we go. Oops. Sometimes you just have to will it in, I guess. There we go. You and you make a fit edge. You and... Not you. You make an edge. Okay, there's our floor, right? We'll just leave it like this for the moment. Go into here. Oh, the normals. Good grief. Why does that have to be so hard? To get these normals to be consistent. Save. Now it should be all or nothing, right? No. No. No at all. One of these should look different, and I don't see which one looks different. It's that one. That face is rendering different, right? Because its normal is different. So, linked, grab you, flip the normals, save. Now we should see the entire floor. Okay. And we grab the link again. And we say extrude you down by 0.1 negative, save. Keep pushing the wrong buttons because I've got too many programs in my head as to how they work. I'm not convinced that that normal is correct, so let's save it. We might be looking at like the inside of it in Unity. Okay, let's try it. Play. Obviously lighting needs to be different. Nice. Okay, so there is a slight seam there. I'm not sure why yet. Oh, it's because we dropped down into the thing. The normals are still incorrect. So, all of these, flip the normals, save. So, there we go. Back down in there. What? Was it just the edge that was off? Is that what was wrong? I mean, that's dark. That to me means that's the inside. Although we don't have a light in this scene. Let's, there we go. I was upside down too, that didn't help. Let's go to object mode. Let's give it a material. You shall be green. Really? Okay, your normals are screwed. It comes up as green. Oh, no light, no light, no light. Lamp, sun. I think the edges are still funky on what their normal should be. There's no edge loop there. Now it's pointing out. Minecraft. Okay, it didn't disappear this time. We can see the bottom. We can see the edge. No, it's an ugly color, but deal with that later. And there's no lip now. We fixed it finally. Cool. Now, in cases like this, we're going to need those to be double-sided as well. So everything needs to be an have actual thickness to it. It can't just be a single plane. And that probably will fix our lighting glitches too. Let's take our camera, our rigid body controller. Hate the Unity skybox. Personal preference. Hate it. Not that that's much better, but at least it's not the crazy blue color. Save. Okay. Where do I go from here? Could spend some time creating some stairs and things like that. Disconnect from there so I can stop hearing the spiders. In this regard, like, we don't want these objects connected to these doors, and they are right now. Right, so if I go edge mode, so I can click on the thing, and I drag it, it's connected. We want them to be at those locations, but not physically connected, I don't believe. So let's do... If I do linked, it's going to grab everything, isn't it? Shoot. Just do that, that. Okay, and then do Y to split it off. It's everything but the bottoms. Awesome. And we need these pieces. It's gonna be hard to click on. Click the edge loop. Click that. Y. Grab you away. And it doesn't break anything. Doesn't like cool. Grab this. Y. Cool. To turn magnet mode on. Oops, hit a face. Don't want the face there. There we go. I think this is the one we already did. And I confirm that. Oh, no, it didn't. Oh, I did that one. Okay. Yeah. Okay, save. And then this whole thing, and I can do linked, and nothing should be linked to it. Cool. None of the doors are linked. So now we can do Control D. Nope. Duplicate. Grab that down. And its position needs to go 16 down. So grab Z, -16. Duplicate again. Grab Z, -16. Boom. There's our 3 floors. Now we need some type of connector to go up and down amongst them. Probably in these corners, right? How that's done, I'm not quite sure yet. Let's just save this. Let's put it into the game. Run the game. Everything's casting shadows, which is interesting. Got a sun, which we don't have later on. Come over here to a corner. And I can't go back in. Why couldn't I go back in? I must not have control in air on this. Advanced settings. Air control. I was gonna go off the side and come back in. Okay, so we can go down to floor 2 or floor 3. Cool. I've got enough pieces here to do the generation, right? I don't have enough to make it random yet, but I've got enough to start on the code for it. That's probably where I should move to next, because if I can get that working, that's going to motivate me more. Right, it's only 4 o'clock. Let me make sure my wife's not messaging me. Turn my sounds on. She's asking if I was still streaming. How long have I been streaming for? Okay. Anyone here still? Okay, she wants to talk to me for a minute. So I'm going to take a 5-minute break. I'll be back. I need some more water anyway. So I shall return.
The artist I'll never be. I'm so sorry I never stay. Overreact and just walk away. Take me back to the place I know. I have the power to let things go. I'm so lost I can't see the shore. You know what that means, we've been here before. My self-restraint. I think we're done, then you add more paint. I calm down and watch it dry, and there it is, my love, 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 love. Mind and body just can't agree on what I should do when I don't feel free. You're not holding me back, I know. We're young and we never take things slow. I lose myself. I calm down and I watch it dry, and there it is, my I'm the landscape you need to see. You are the artist I'll never be. Stay with me and I have no doubt you'll make a painting that makes you proud.
Hello. Oh. Okay, yeah, my mic's working. Gotta make sure. Okay, so what you're seeing right now for code is a different variation of this whole mess. And I think I need to get rid of all of it. Or a good chunk of it, right? The block location stuff, don't need it. We can keep that. We will set the int or x equal to chunk x on its constructor. We will set z equal to chunk z on constructor. Boom. Block locations, I think you're going to be gone. We're not going to do blocks. In fact, let's go into Unity and kill the whole script altogether just to keep things clean and tidy. Boom, gone. Coordinates. We don't need you either. It's a thought process I had around using a list. And I don't think that's going to be efficient. We'll use an array instead. Okay. Our world, we still probably will need a seed so that we can randomly generate it off the seed, assuming we can set that in random. So let's take a look. Random seed. Yeah, we can set seed. So, okay, so we're picking a random seed if you don't specify a seed, is what I'm doing here. But at the bottom of this, we probably should set seed random dot seed equal to seed. So we actually use it, right? Is obsolete, deprecated. Use init state. Okay. Init init state. Take for parameters the seed. Okay. I take care of that piece. Generating these then, right? So we're gonna need a trying to think, do we want a prefab? I'm gonna prefab object that we're gonna spawn. We're gonna want a list of them. We're gonna want data about them. And I think the best way to store that data about them is a scriptable object that contains the prefab and all the other additional data about it. So under our scripts, let's create a new folder called scriptable objects. And in here, we're going to create a new scriptable. No. We need C# script. We're going to rename this first off. Chunk information. Well, we've got connectors, we've got uniques. Module. Those are modules. Formation. This would be our class about the scriptable object, right? Okay, so we're gonna have type. Can I make an enum in here? Enum type module type, we'll call it. Module tab. Public. First value connector. Start area. Getting the ordering right. Start area connector unique. Okay, let's create this. So we need a module type. MODULE-TYP. Public. And we should be able to right click and create this, right? I don't think we have to create a menu for this anymore. Can't remember. Let's fire up our other project, because it's already got one in there that works, right? DD. Come on, load. Can't remember if we need to set like a menu or something up here, an attribute on it. So in this project, we've got one. Don't care. Scripts, scriptable objects. It's this one. It's loading on my other screen here. I'll pull it over a second. Yep, there was a menu. Thought there might have been. Let's go to this one. We'll say this, and this we'll call module. Yep. So now we can close that out. I'm going to keep the Visual Studio window open though. And go to this Unity window. Right click once it compiles. Module. Nice. Okay, now in this we need some additional information. I was just trying to get things set up. Public game object. Prefab. So it loads. Okay, now we can get the prefab in here for the connector. And this is a type connector, right? Save. And green trifloor. Floor connector. Okay, let's create another one. So I can click right, module, start area. Start area. I'm gonna lock my inspector to that screen. Get my start area house and put it in there. Let's delete these two from the world. Got that there. We've got this here. We need to go to the world controller class. Oh, there it is. It's wrong. Okay, let's get rid of this. Material we don't need. Material we don't need. Material we don't need. Don't need. Okay, in start we're going to got the world, so we say world equals new world. And eventually I'm going to need to set up some type of limitations for the world size, but for now we're not going to worry about it. Like, what I mean by that is we don't want to instantiate 5 trillion objects because we can, right? We want to limit it to a reasonable amount of chunks around the player. So world is going to call this, we're going to do this. We're going to create a new chunk. Chunk is going to do what? So in world controller, you probably need a list of all of those modules informations. This isn't even named right. Module. Information. Okay, in world controller we're gonna go here. Public. Let's do an array. Modules. And wait for that to compile, get a list of modules. It will select both of these. I'll lock this and select both of these. And we can't drop them in there. Why? Oh, that's how that worked. Compile error. Scriptable object. Did I need to specify scriptable object instead? No. So over my other project again, I'm using dungeon somewhere in my dungeon setup window as this. It's a serializable field, private, and you can just pull it in. It was a dungeon. Dungeon. So it's something to do with the name being screwed up a bit. MODULEINFORMATION. Saying this, and that is what's going there. Which would have been the same there. Some module information. That should be what these are. Another inspector. Oh. It broke it when I renamed it. Okay, let's set them up again. Okay, there we go. Make sure they deleted. Start area. Okay. And start area was in chunks. And new scriptable module. Green tri-floor connector. And connector. Okay, now if I come here, can I drag these both in? There we go. So I set this to 0 and then just drag them straight in. That's what was wrong. Broke one of the connections along the way. Okay, so we've got our list of possible objects to spawn. It is a list, right? So we know know its length, right? That's what I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think through how am I going to get that information all the way back to the chunk that is going to try and pick what it should be, or the world that's trying to pick what it should be. It's probably the world that needs to derive it. Prefab. All right, something like that. What is this even doing? New chunk 00. Where is the definition of that? Oh. Prefab. Game object. Prefab. So this is going to pick a random one, just a completely random one, from the list, right? So 00 is going to be the start one. So modules. Let's make that a static, I guess, over here. Oh, does that make it not show up in the inspector? I think it does when you do that. So I gotta compile unless it's no errors. Yeah, removes it from the inspector. Dang it. I don't think serialized fields work on that. Did it compile already that fast? Wow. Dang. So pass it on to World. World's kind of like, what I'm quickly seeing is the way I originally set this up. Sorry, I keep breaking up what I'm saying. So when I originally set this up was similar to Minecraft, right? Where you've got a world, you've got a thing that controls all of the worlds. You can have multiple dimensions, right? That's a world in Minecraft. It's not needed anymore though. I just can go straight from world controller or straight from world into the chunk and not have both. There's only going to be one world in this game. This has all the meats and potatoes that we really need. So let's move this to world and be done. Don't need this. Get rid of this. Like, get rid of it, right? We're gonna get rid of it all completely. Then this becomes world instead of world controller. Scripts, world controller, delete. Add this to as world instead. What? World. Ah. Mono behavior. Oh, minimize you. World. Okay, scriptable objects. It's locked. Bingo. Okay, so when we run this, we're going to have a list of chunks. Got the list of module information. And when we're spawning in a chunk, we'll use that to do it, right? So on this first one, we will spawn in modules 0, assuming that's our starting object. And it's not. Cool. dot prefab. And then let's say we do more chunks. Oh no, like 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And for now, we'll just say 1 because we don't really have much of a variety to pick from. And see if we pick them or spawn them. Oh wait, we're not gonna. In the chunk, we didn't need to say prefab gets instantiated, right? Instantiate. Game object dot instantiate prefab at. Let's see. That's a parent. We want a specific location. So new vector 3. It's gonna be. I might go for a little while longer. Yeah, I'll probably go for a little while longer. Around 6-ish, I'll probably stop for dinner, eat with the family, do a couple other things, and then come back home later tonight. At least that's the idea right now. I don't work tomorrow, so I can go pretty late tonight. So let's see, X and Z, and then Y is going to be, it's always level set them at 0. We probably need quaternion identity. And we don't care about the parent. Is that enough? That is enough. Awesome. Now if I hit play. Yeah, no worries, man. Okay, so Control Shift P to pause. See, do we spawn them in? We did not. What happened? Error, where are you? On that. What's it say? Not set to a reference or reference instance of an object. Did I not set the prefab? Let's uncheck that. I did set the prefab. Let's clear these and run it again just because it might be from an old... No, it's not an old error message. Happens right away. Like that's an instantaneous error. I've never seen one so fast. I could see that one being an issue because I probably put too many on there. But not the first one. Let's do this then. See if it's null for some reason. Debug log. Name. Oh, we're gonna have all sorts of lighting issues, aren't we? That'd be interesting. Play. So it is that. Is that not truly a prefab? Is that the issue? Let's check that out. Is it like some other weird object because it's from Unit or from Blender? You go to like this one. What is that considered? What's its type? It's a Blender file. So, like, oh, it's load Blender. An old version of Blender. Dang it. Gotta create him as prefabs. Like, if I just drag that back down, then is it enough? Would you like to create a new prefab or a variant? Original prefab. And then yeah. I keep saying I'm gonna turn it off because I don't know how much it actually helps. Maybe I need just to like do Discord commands or something. But then like people don't know what the commands are if they're new and stuff. So now if I do this, does it work? I don't see them in the scene. And it says it's not a reference of an object. What? How does that even work then? That makes no sense because I'm referencing an object that's been defined in the editor. So it's got an element size of 2. Starting area is this. Let's do this. Debug. Log. Capital L as well, please. Dot name. Let's try it like that. See if we get the name of the thing, because that might be the parent thing, not the prefab. That's not an instantiated object, which is really weird if that's the case. Line 14. But it is. Not in start. That's the issue. So this is, we changed this from a regular class which has a constructor over to a mono behavior, and I'm gonna take a guess that the objects that are defined or serialized out in your through the inspector are not set until start, not on the constructor of the object. Yep, no error messages. No error messages, no objects, but no error messages. One piece at a time, I guess. Oh, come on. Let's get rid of that maximize too. That's just annoying me right now. So we created a chunk. That chunk should have set its X and Y position, or X and Z position, and then instantiate the prefab. So why did that not happen? Let's run it one more time. Should see them up over here, right? And we don't. Did start get called? I need to say public. So we also should have those names in the log. Yeah, nothing, that was not getting called. Still not getting called. World. It's case sensitive tech. Need to change my robot battery. That's looking better. Array index out of bounds, and I'm in a world that I can walk around in. Okay. Yeah, I know, right? We've got a problem. I know what the problem is, and it's hilarious. You've got a problem. That prefab, the rotation's not set on it. Oh, it is set. What? Let's save that. Let's do that again. Does that mean this one's messed up too? No, that one's right. Showing sideways, showing vertical here. There, refresh. Does not change. Awesome. What in the world? Should be. Okay, it did spawn them all in, right? We can confirm that. They are all on their side. Because we're setting the rotation, we're overriding the rotation. If we had a child object, it would be okay. We might do that. So if we insert an object into the hierarchy of the prefab. Create empty. Parent. I don't know. Can I not change the hierarchy? I can't. Gotta recreate the prefab from scratch. You kidding me? Glad I'm just like testing this stuff out, like, and not really invested in this game yet. Select both of these. Can I reset them both at the same time? Okay, so start area. You go in here, and then green tri floor connector. Okay, those are both objects in their scene. We can now make them prefabs. They're both horizontal looking now. That's perfect. Delete you. Go to our scriptable object, select that one. This is our connector. We drag that one in. Scriptable object, start area. Start area. Save. Play. Are we in the right room? In the right orientation? We are! And that's probably because there's like 1,600 of these things spawning in right now. Yeah, okay. We didn't change the offset. Hello! Oh. C... How would you pronounce that? C-sep? C-sep? We'll call you CC. So in our chunk area, CC, okay. Probably not even pronouncing that right myself, but sorry. So we need to times this times 64. Which is our chunk width, or chunk height, or depth, I mean. Second? Second. I'm horrible at pronouncing names. So, is it over here? It is not over here. Control-Shift-P. Oh, that's just because we've got it in the backwards direction. So this one's rotated the wrong way. It's decipher, but no D. Decipher? Okay. Now, let's see. So we're at 0, 64, 28. So let's just set start area to rotate around. I guess it doesn't matter. We're going to spawn them everywhere when we're all done, right? We're not going to spawn one area. There would be a connector on all the, quote, odd positions. Or even positions, whatever. Let's do the checkerboard pattern. So I guess that's something we need to look at next. That's not the right window, this is. Doing the checkerboard pattern. Let's create another list. How am I supposed to describe this? So we're going to make it simple on ourselves, right? We're going to let Unity sort stuff out for us on World Gen. So I'm going to just, here's all my scriptable objects that contain my prefabs and data about them. Then we're going to loop through that at the very beginning of the things and split them up into their types. So we're going to split up one specific one that's going to be the starting area. We're going to be another category that's going to be connectors, another category that's going to be uniques. And then those lists will be what we pick from for our actual random generation of the world. Public module information, start module. Okay, and public module information. This one will be another array list. List module information. Connectors, connector modules, unique modules. Okay, and we will say then this, we will say set up modules or split modules. Am I spelling modules right? Every single time I type it and then fixing it. Or am I typing it right and then fixing it to the wrong? It is LE is the correct. Okay. So I am fixing it. Say public void that And we're going to take this for int I equals 0 to I is less than that length I plus plus, and we'll say if module I dot module type equals module type dot start area. Then we'll put it into start area. Start module. And then this becomes start module. Equals module. And we're just going to cache that off. Then we'll say else if modules I dot module type equal modular information dot connector. We will say module connector modules add modules I. And same deal again for uniques. UNIQUE. Why are you airing off? Prefab. Okay, so let me say connector should be the first one. Prefab. We need a specific one though from it. Crap. Is there a way to get a specific index? I don't know. Out of a list. I think there probably is, but I'm not seeing it as I scroll through here really quick. That takes the module information. We want the index and get a module information. We could say the index and range. Yeah, it's another. Can return a whole list of them though again. C# get list get element at index. Getting a list item by index, Stack Overflow. Is it really just that simple, like an array? I didn't think that would work. Connector modules. So we go random dot. Come on. Random dot. That's the deprecated one, so range. And then we'll say 0 to that dot length, size. Come on, how many are in the stupid thing? Count. There we go. Okay, what are you complaining about then? Returns a random float number. Oh yeah, can't convert. Dot prefab. Ta-da. Okay, and then this one's gonna be the opposite, so it's gonna be unique. And you don't like me. Then put that prefab. Okay. Just leave it with those two because there's nothing in the unique right now at the moment. We need to create one. In fact, let's do that super quick by doing this, right? So we're going to save this. Let's first create a new color. Red. Save. Yep, save. And then let's save this as before I redo the actual color of the thing. So unique. IQE1.blend. Save. We're gonna get another Blender file folder with the file inside of it. We're gonna create a new empty game object, unique one test, and we need to go back into Blender, select all of our points in edit mode, and hit assign so they become red. Actually, that would be useful. I'm going to select this thing, tell it no rigs. No animations. Please generate a collider for us. Hit apply. I'm going to drag this in under unique test 1. We're going to drag unique test 1 into our prefabs. We're going to create a new scriptable object. And it will be unique test 1 red. I don't know, whatever. Doesn't really matter its named. And this is going to be unique. And we're going to say under prefabs, we want that there. Boom. Get rid of it from the game. Save everything. Now we should have one to go into here. It should spawn all 3 types now. So we look at our scene. We've only got the 2. Oh, wait. What? Oh, I know. That makes sense. So over here on the world controller, we need to add our additional element. So if we do 3 for this, and unique test goes into that 3rd slot. But it won't let us. Why? Because we have an error. No, that's at runtime. Hide an inspector. Hide inspector, hide inspector. I don't want all that extra junk in there. Okay. escape. There we go. We've got them set up right. Okay, now the next part. The next part. We need to drive a bigger area to be spawned, first off, right? That's kind of a given. We don't want just 3 chunks. We want the whole area. I can define that like start generation, right? And it just generates that much. That's not a problem. Start size. So we want to integer. Start size. We'll just set it to, I don't know, 10 for now. Public, just so it doesn't take too long, right? And we're just gonna do for x equals, wow, int x equals 0. X is less than start size. X plus plus. Same thing with Y. I need to figure out what that stupid shortcut key is for Visual Studio to auto-complete my for loops for me. We're gonna get 0, 0 out of this, right? We don't want to do 0, 0, so actually just don't want to. And this basically becomes the rest of it. And if y equals 0 and x equals 0, we want them both to equal 0 to do nothing, right? Actually, we can just do this in there. That'll solve that. So else, we'll do this, right? And we'll say x there, y there. Should we change it to z? Let's change it to z. Z. There we go. That should be x, z, z, and why are you complaining here? We're only gonna want one of these. We need a test determines if it's even or odd. So connector unique. So we need a method public void is odd. Bool is odd. We're gonna take an int x, int z. So if we look at a checkerboard, we've got 0 in the middle. To the right of that, you've got 0, 1. To the right of that, you have 0, 2. Okay. Below the 1 to the right, so over 1 and down 1, would be 1, 1, let's say. And then over 1, down 2 would be 1, 2. So if we did a checkerboard pattern on our odds, how did I do this before? Did I look to see if they both were odd? Did I look to see if one of them was odd? Let's get a way to represent this visually so that I can plot it out. Photoshop with a big image? A small image, I mean. We'll just take the coordinates. So, new 16, 16. Come on. Load so I could zoom in. There we go. And we'll just do black. That's as small as it goes. Oh, we got the eraser tool. Yeah. Okay, so 0, 0 would be up here, right? We weren't worried about 0, 0. We're worried about 1, 1. That should be... well, no, whatever. Odd or even. 1, 1. So 1, 1 is even. The sum of them is even. This would be 1, 3. The sum of them is even. So it's the sum that we used. That very well could be it. I want to go look at my other code, but because it can't look at just the chunk number in that version because we use 2 chunks. So this would be 1, 1. 1, 2, that would be an odd. 1, 3, so those added together would be even. I think it's just to add them together and see if they're even. So let's try that. So we'll say return x plus z the modulus operator 2 equals 0. Okay, so we'll add the x to the z. We will then divide that by 2 and see what the remainder is. If the remainder is 0, we know it's odd. Or even, I mean. So I guess we need to rename this as even. There we go. So if is even x comma z. Else. There we go. So if it's even, it's going to pick a random connector. If it's odd, it's going to pick a random unique. And if we got those reversed from what's coming off of the stupid starting point, we'll just flip the code around. Let's try it. Please push play. Well, there's our somewhat of our checker pattern. We are multiplying by the chunk width and chunk depth, which are set to 64, and we're picking the x and the z coordinates. Why did we only do this a couple times? Did even... Why is there not 10 times 10 of these? It is set to 10. Why 3? Oh, we got an error. Just random at range. It's inclusive of the lower number and exclusive of the upper number, so it would have been 0 to 1, so it would have always been 0. Right, how many of these are uniques? It is set as unique, so that means that that should have had a value in it. Adding modules to uniques if it's type unique. Doing less than the length, so that would have been, so the length would have been 3. So 0, 1, and 2, that's right. This would be 1. 0 to 1. Hey, CZ. Got into code. I'm just gonna run this again, see if it gets the same error in the same spot. We got 2 uniques this time. First off, this does need to be flipped. We want the connector next to the starting area. I'm trying to figure out the math again for what it took to do the checkerboard pattern. And I think I might have it, but it's getting stuck on saying that the index is out of range of the array. So the connector modules this time is what's airing off. Interesting. I mean, we only have one of them. Well, let's take that out of the question for right now. So let's take this bit of code. We'll just comment it out and put it right there for safekeeping, and we'll hard code to 0 in there for the moment. Come back to the randomness of it in a bit. There wouldn't be any visible randomness to it anyway, because it's only the 2. And we got an error message. Did we? How? Line 51. Oh, the chunks. It's this side that's getting there. Yeah. So this. We didn't have a big enough array of chunks. So I can actually put this back in then. That's a lot of chunks over there. There's a checkerboard pattern. Now, the starting area is still facing in the wrong direction. I can deal with that if I have to. The other piece that I'm seeing here is we're only spawning in one given direction because we only did positive and on both the X and Y. So we're not doing the negative coordinate system at all. We can do that. So we say X equals start size, negative start size. It's equals negative start size, and it just goes through all of them. So we should get a randomly generated, not infinite yet, because it's only set to a specific size. Index out of bounds. Right, because of the chunk array. We could offset by a large number, then have a low likelihood of the player coming back there. I think this chunk array needs to be converted to a list, though. Or something else that's appropriate. Because it's going to dynamically change as we load the level out, moving around the level. And that's part of the issue right now, right? I can't add anything to it in the negative space. Hash map to me sounds a little better. Because then I could say, does this coordinate exist? It's probably how I did Demon Depths. I don't think C# has hash maps, or if it does, they're just called dictionaries. Let's do this. So we're gonna say dictionary. And that takes a type, right? It should take 2 types. Yeah, a key and a pair, key and a value. So the key could be another data type that we could create. That would be the coordinates, the chunk coordinates, right? So that's one option. Could be a string. We could just concatenate strings together. However, I know concatenating strings together can be costly, performance-wise. So we're going to say dictionary. Let's create a class. I'm sorry. I'm just going to do it this way. C# script, chunk, chords, chunk coordinate. And it's just going to be a data type. It's not going to be a mono behavior. Regular class. It's going to have an int, a chunk, no, just X and a Y. Int, Z, public. There, 2 integers. Then over here, we're going to say this is going to be a key by the chunk coordinate. And it's going to have a chunk. And this will be our chunks. Okay, so down here we are going to say, well, we know for start it's never going to exist, right? So we can just do chunks. Chunks.add, and it's going to be chunk coordinate. New chunk. I guess we got to create a constructor for this thing. Chunk. Int chunk x, int chunk z, x equals chunk x. What do I want for supper? Go to something in want. Sushi, ugh. I don't even like fish. So new chunk coordinate. So up here we can say chunk coordinate cc equals new chunk coordinate x and z, and then we can use cc add, and it's the key and the value, and the value becomes this. Ta-da! And then this becomes this. There we go. Play. Now we're not doing any type of checking to see if the chunk's already there. We'll need to do that stuff at some point. Because it's possible the player to walk away and then come back. But this isn't really the generation. Okay, got an error. Let's see what the error is about. What was the message? Object reference not set to an instance of an object. This should be set to a reference of an object. This should have been called first, though. So why did it fail? The whole chunk piece we just tested, so we know that's good. It's creating a new chunk. Makes me question this, though. I had the unique one. We don't have a starting area, though. How do we not have a starting area? Oh, we wouldn't have a starting area. Perfect. Because it's not starting at 0, anymore. So it's the very first thing then. So we need to say new chunk. Dictionary? We do that. Just so it's instantiated. Bingo. There is the Demon Depth style checkerboard pattern around the start area. And we can run forever. Or not forever, but 10 by 10 area. Looks like they're connecting up just fine. On the multiple levels as well. I mean, even a 10 by 10 area is pretty decent sized. Well, it's 10 from the center, so it should be like 20 by 20. Like, I've got to run for a ways before I can get out of this. I don't know why I'm running out here. I just want to, I guess. Not gonna be any benefit. It's not gonna load more or anything. That's it. Okay, Control P. There's a little bit of delay, but it's not bad, right? I mean, that's completely doable. Now it just comes down to creating multiple uniques and connectors. In fact, let's do that. Let's go in here. So this is a unique at the moment. Let's add another color in here just so we can visually simulate it, right? We'll go to another, let's like yellow, like that side of the ring is going to be our uniques, and this will be yellow. I'm just going to assign that to all those. Save as, please. unique 2. Save. Did she not get my message? So back in Unity, what does it take to get this added then? Let's walk through it really quick. We take the unique here. We first set our settings to not import all this extra junk. Keep the project simple. Do this one. Apply. We put it in the scene. We add a new game object. We reset the game object. Make it a child. Unique 2. We create a prefab out of that. Unique 2. And then create a scriptable object as well. Unique 2. The hesitation in my voice was there. I'm not seeing a lot of value in the scriptable object yet, other than to mark it as a unique or connector, which is like one little bit of information. And then over here, you have to add it as well. Perhaps I could create a thing that says, you know, scan for scriptable objects, add them all. Save, gonna run this. And do we have any? There we go. I mean, there's quite a bit of clicking to do, but it's not hard clicking, right? It's just adding them in there. And the yellow ones are only in spots where the red ones would be, right? The green is still uniform distributed on the checkerboard pattern. The yellow and red are sharing the checkerboard pattern now. So, CZ. I don't have much time. I gotta go up and talk to my wife here in a minute. But I want to load up the code for Demon Depths. Because TechStack has an idea. Maybe a horrible idea, but I have an idea. And you might love it if it works. Might. So we do this thing called scanning, and we have a lot of modules already. And where do we save this at? Save blocks to file. We're writing bytes into a file. That are the blocks, right? The data about the blocks. What if we use Minecraft as a building platform? Now, like, it would be the shapes, right? It wouldn't be the command blocks and junk like that. Or the mob spawners. It would just be, if there's a block there, we could make a block there in this version. Right, so this shape would be maintained. Because all that, like, the shape, right? The shape alone. And by the shape, I mean the fact that there's a block there. It wouldn't even determine if there's a stair or not. Because what it's essentially doing with this code is go F3 on this. It's getting output stream. It's writing the offered output stream. Write the B. What's the B? The B is the block. Single chunk data. It's getting the data here. It's getting the block at a position and getting the data of it. Wait, that's the data side. There's two pieces of this, I forgot. There's chunk data. And there's extra chunk data. So it's getting the ID of the block, converting that to a byte, and saving that ID, right? So if we look at this block, oh, it doesn't even show us in this version of Minecraft. Crap. Like, that this is a gold block is like ID 10 or something silly, right? Actually, let's do this. F3H. It's ID 41. So 41 is stored in a file because it's gold block. And if it were stone, it would be ID 1. That's how this is being saved. Like, there's a 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0 for air. So I could take all the zeros and leave them as non-blocks. Right? Maybe I could convert these Demon Depths things into Unity is what I'm saying. Maybe. There's probably other issues with it, like the fact that I just made these chunks 64 instead of 32. But something to consider, I guess. I could always change my chunk size in Unity. I just wanted to make them bigger because you felt somewhat limited building these, right? And at 32 by 32 in Minecraft. I did. Like, there wasn't enough space to make it work. Sometimes. I think you can make it. Ease artistic burden will help make this more likely to succeed. Yeah, and like, I was trying to recapture the time investment we did, right? By saying that. Because, like, there is so much time we've all, mostly you guys, but we've all put into Demon Depths before. Would it look pretty? Nah, probably not. But maybe it's something we could start with. Like, what I'm saying is, I could determine if it's air or if it's something else and then make a plane or a cube there, right? Doesn't mean it's going to have this texture. Could we do something about that? Probably. But I need textures. I don't want to copy the Minecraft textures. I need my own textures for it. And what happens where it's a block or it's like a chest, right? There's nothing. Or these stairs. Right? Those are all different shapes and rotations of that data. It's all stored in the files, right? That's why how we can recreate it. It's just that we need a huge array of all the blocks in Minecraft and what their IDs are. Okay. Well, my wife's saying I need to tell her what I want or I'm not going to get anything to eat. So I'm going to take a break from streaming for a while. I'll be back later on tonight, probably. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.